My name's Matthew Hitch, and I started doing martial arts in '86, I suppose. I started with Zendo Kai, which was a Bob Jones thing. He was a bouncer that started a martial art in Australia in Japanese style, and I didn't do that for very long.
Was that in Canberra as well?
Sorry?
Was that in Canberra?
Say again?
Was that in
Yeah, that was in
Canberra?
Canberra. Yeah.
Okay.
It was in Queanbeyan, actually.
Queanbeyan. Okay. Still technically Canberra.
Yeah. So back then in that school, it was 6 months to black belt, or for some people 12 months, depending on how, you know. And I did it for a few months, not very long, but long enough to realise the philosophy wasn't really there. They were like picking fights in the street and, you know, yeah, challenging strangers walking by, you know, while they were sitting in their car and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Throwing things out the car window when they were driving. And I was catching lifts with them to and from training and thinking, this is not very healthy. And they told me that the black belt test was to go with my sensei and into a bar at night, and he would choose a person for me to fight, and that would be my black belt test. And maybe they were kidding, but I just this is nothing. This is not martial arts. This is not what I thought it would be. So I quit. And then Master Caputo had a school in Australia called Tung Su Tao. He started off with Tung Su Do, and then he changed to Tung Su Tao.
Yeah.
And I came across one of his students, and that was Glenn Sa Bom Nim. And you know, what do you call it? Oh gosh, sorry, I'm not thinking very well. In a self-defense course for public service. I was public service.
Okay.
And yeah, so I started training under Glenn Sa Bom Nim.
Glenn Sa Bom Nim.
In Tung Su Tao. Yep. And then he left Tung Su Tao and started a different thing. Anyway, started something else, and then we met again some years later after I got to Chodan first done in Tung Su Tao, which was Tung Su Do basically.
Yep.
And visited Korea in '99 and met Idong Sa Bom Nim. So anyway, there's a bit of history of where my sort of, you know, beginning came from. I met Idong Sa Bom Nim and his students and some of the guys from Songtan and down at the Osan base, and was just blown away by the power and the focus that they had. And at the time, young Sung Sa Bom Nim, who is one of the seniors in Wiwong Dojang now, he was just got his sabom, his saran, but he was quite thin at that stage, and I was just floored by how he could break wood. You know, like chunks of wood, literally 3 or 4 times thicker than we would have in Australia to break. And he was breaking, like scratching himself here, you know, and I videoed it and took it back to Australia to show people. I was surprised it's done, but he didn't want to admit it. And so anyway, I saw that and thought, I want to learn this. This is all technique. This has got no muscle behind, no brute force at all. And the kicks were amazing. The stretching was amazing. I was just, I was stunned. So I packed up and moved over here.
Yeah. So that was the reason to move to Korea.
Well, yeah, kind of, yeah. I went back to uni and chose Korean language because I'd been doing, you know, Tung Su Do.
Yeah.
And then when I was failing Korean language, I took off to Korea for a week just to try and get my Korean language up.
Yeah.
And stopped in at Chungan Dojang and was just adopted straight away by Idong Sa Bom Nim, and that was when I had this, you know, wow, knocked off my feet by the technique and the dedication of his students, and so I wanted to be one of them. And I was accepted, and that was the end of that's how it all started for Subaco with me.
Awesome. And how?
So I trained under for 2 years.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And how long have you been training for?
Well, I met Hitch Sa Bom Nim in '99,
Mm-hmm.
and I started training straight away. And he gave me homework and sent me back to Australia.
Mm-hmm.
And so I trained as hard as I could and would visit every now. Came back for a month in at the end of the millennium.
Yep.
And then moved over here in 2001, and then trained with him for another 6 months or so, and did a test. And that, I didn't actually sit the Trot test with everybody else. I did it in Anandodome in front of Hitch Sa Bom Nim. As far as I know, I didn't even realise what was happening.
Yeah.
That's better. If I apply for Yukdan later on,
Yeah.
he'll have a good hard look at me first.
Yeah. I remember your tooth flying out last year in Korea.
But it still flies out.
How'd you lose that one?
I'm trying to hold this and speak with it. Sorry?
How'd you lose that one?
I got punched out in the fight.
Oh, you got punched out. Oh.
Yeah. That's how we lose the mutually.
Where was that? In Korea or?
That was in high school.
In high school. Oh, okay.
And it was over a girl.
Over a girl. They usually.
Oh, the first girl I ever kissed.
Oh, okay. It usually is over a girl.
Absolutely.